I was dealing with this. Throughout my whole. Well, I had people jealous of me throughout my whole career before.
To always remind Tank, Floyd is Floyd, but you're Gervonta Davis.
That's right. I gotta do that. A lot of people don't know that what Floyd do. He said.
So you feel like it was a sub, like he was subbing you, like
he was going at me. He was going.
I was dealing with this. Throughout my whole. Well, I had people jealous of me throughout my whole career before a professional. Jealousy comes with the territory. I sell an arena out every time, and I get and I say to myself, y'all people not tired. Y'all done been here 50. We done sold the arena out 50 times, and y'all keep coming up short. We could do it 50 more times. Y'all gonna keep coming up short. What's meant to be in life is meant to be. And Cruz, and as far as what Cruz would take, he know he didn't win. No, he didn't win at all. And if Tank really would have lost the fight, I would have said he lost. And of course, we in California. This is Mexico. So, I mean, if
a lot of people don't know that what Floyd do. He said.
So you feel like it was a sub, like he was subbing you, like
he was going at me. He was going at me, and I knew for sure he was going at me. That's why I went at him. There's no reason for me to go at Floyd.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Cause I feel like y'all got, I wouldn't say love hate, but it's been like the last interview you showed them love. This week it was whatever. But is that sometimes like, you know, is it just like big bro, little bro seeing things different, or what is it to you?
No, Floyd don't never. He felt as though I'm at that point where as though I passed him, and I'm doing it at a young age. Like when Floyd was 29, you'll see, bro.
Yeah,
that deal that I'm talking about.
Yeah, oh, that's a part of the deal.
He don't know about that yet, but that's bigger than his deal.
Damn. Wow.
And I'm just releasing it.
Exclusive. That's exclusive. Bigger than Floyd deal?
Yeah.
Tank no cap, nigga. That's a lot of bread.
Always see solid relationships end due to a female, man. They've started multiple wars. There's a reason why a lot of men are locked up right now. There's a reason why a lot of men are in that grave right now. I believe in this case, we don't know all the details, but I'm just going to go ahead and assume that Tank smashed Floyd's daughter. Tank went ahead and smashed Floyd's daughter on this one and sullied the relationship. It was done after that. But there had to be a reason why he went ahead and went that route. And I think he went that route because there wasn't enough money coming in. And Tank probably thought that it was going to be better than it was early on. So he said, you know what? Hey, she throwing it at me. Let me go ahead and do what I do. And from that instance, Floyd said, hey, you got the game up. I'm about to let you really know how it is. You about to go up against a real go-getter, a real headhunter.
The room was packed wall-to-wall with reporters, camera flashes, and security guards trying to maintain a thin line of order. But in boxing, order is an illusion that can shatter in a single split second. No one in that room could have predicted what was about to unfold, a flashpoint that will go down as one of the most insane, terrifying, and chaotic moments in combat sports history. Floyd Money Mayweather was standing at the podium, doing what Floyd has done for over 2 decades, controlling the room, holding court, and talking about his legacy, his promotions, and his reign at the top of the fight game. He had that trademark grin, flashing expensive diamonds and speaking with the total confidence of an undefeated 5-division world champion. But just off to the side, standing near the backdrop, was his former star pupil, the lethal lightweight powerhouse, Gervonta "Tank" Davis. You could see it in Tank's eyes from the second he stepped on stage. The atmosphere was heavy, suffocatingly tense, filled with years of unspoken resentment, bitter business breakups, and relentless online trash talk. Tank wasn't smiling. He was fuming. As Floyd took another shot at Tank's career choices, mentioning how he built Gervonta from scratch and made him a millionaire, something inside Tank completely snapped. Without warning, Gervonta stepped forward, shoved past 2 security guards, and lunged directly at Floyd Mayweather. Mics were knocked over, screeching feedback roared through the speakers, chairs crashed to the floor, and total pandemonium erupted. People in the front row screamed and scrambled backward as Tank violently reached for Floyd, throwing a wild right hand that narrowly grazed Mayweather's cheek before security swarmed the stage in a desperate, chaotic pileup. It took nearly 10 burly guards to drag Tank back, while Floyd was rushed off stage by his entourage, visually shaken, his security team forming a wall to prevent a full-scale riot. This wasn't staged for pay-per-view buys. This wasn't a cheap marketing stunt. This was real, raw, dangerous hatred boiling over live on camera. And to truly understand why this explosive moment happened and how two men who used to call each other family ended up wanting to tear each other apart, you have to look at the dark, complicated, and toxic history between Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis. To understand how a live press conference descended into absolute violence, you have to rewind the tape to where this relationship originally began. Long before they were throwing hands behind podiums, Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis had one of the tightest father-son bonds the boxing world had seen in decades. Back in 2015, Gervonta Davis was a talented but rough-around-the-edges kid coming out of the notoriously tough streets of West Baltimore. He had generational explosive power, insane speed, and a killer instinct in the ring, but he lacked the massive platform, the financial backing, and the industry guidance needed to turn that raw talent into world championship gold. Enter Floyd Mayweather Jr. Fresh off his historic victory over Manny Pacquiao, Mayweather was looking to build his empire with Mayweather Promotions, and in Tank, he saw the ultimate heir to the throne. Floyd signed him, took him under his wing, put him on major pay-per-view undercards, and began grooming him to become the next face of boxing. For years, the partnership was legendary. Floyd gave Tank access to world-class facilities, wrapped him in luxury, gifted him high-end jewelry and cars, and taught him the intricate business of boxing. Whenever Tank fought, Floyd was right there in his corner, screaming instructions, adjusting his defense between rounds, and celebrating every brutal knockout alongside him. When Tank pulverized Jose Pedroza in 2017 to win his very first world title at just 22 years old, Floyd proudly wrapped the belt around Tank's waist and declared to the world that this kid was going to exceed even his own legendary achievements. There is nothing like taking a kid that came from the same background as you, putting them in a position to become a multimillionaire, and watching them become a world champion. Floyd Mayweather, the media ate it up. The fans loved it. It looked like the ultimate story of mentorship, loyalty, and passing the torch. But beneath the glossy surface of private jets, championship belts, and millions of dollars, subtle cracks were already beginning to form. As Tank's star power skyrocketed, his need for independence grew. He was no longer just Floyd's kid or Mayweather's pupil, he was becoming a bona fide pay-per-view attraction in his own right, selling out massive arenas in Atlanta, Los Angeles, Brooklyn, and Baltimore. Tank started realizing that while Floyd was promoting him, Floyd was also sucking up a huge portion of the spotlight. Every time Tank had a fight week, the media interviews naturally revolved around Floyd.
We always see solid relationships end due to a female, man. They've started multiple wars. They're a reason why a lot of men are locked up right now. They're a reason why a lot of men are in that grave right now. I believe in this case, we don't know all the details, but I'm just going to go ahead and assume that Tank smashed Floyd's daughter. Tank went ahead and smashed Floyd's daughter on this one and sullied the relationship. It was done after that. But there had to be a reason why he went ahead and went that route. And I think he went that route because there wasn't enough money coming in. And Tank probably thought that it was going to be better than it was early on. So we said, you know what? Hey, she throwing it at me. Let me go ahead and do what I do. And from that instance, Floyd said, hey, you got the game up. I'm about to let you really know how it is. You about to go up against a real go-getter, a real headhunter. Tank knocked
from and to watch it. I was there.
You can relate to it?
I can relate. And to be honest, I'm the reason he got signed to the team.
That's a true story.
Explain that. Why? What? How did that happen?
I brought him to the gym with an AB shirt on.
True story.
But I didn't have everything right yet. You know, I didn't. Everything wasn't moving yet. You know, I was a little slow on my feet. So I gave him the floor. And every time we bring it up, Floyd like, thank you, AB. You gave me a good one.
Does that feel like a win for About Billions Promotions as well?
Of course, because at the end of the day, I don't care. I don't care who promotes Gervonta Davis. I'm still gonna support him. Same way. You know, he's a little brother to me.
Yeah, Tank been around us since he was like 17, 16. Adrian was already famous on TV and everything. He wrote him on the internet.
Tank got the skills to beat anybody, and he was blessed. He was blessed with the power to hurt anybody if he lands with a solid punch. But I don't think he should go mess with no 147 pounder no time soon. With the skills he got, he can beat anybody. But my opinion, I think he got enough on his plate at 135 pounds with the Shakurs, Ryan Garcia's, Devin Haney's, Frank Martin, who's going to be a big name, a good name. And he should just focus on that. Teofimo, who's still one of the best lightweights out there. Even with people, talking shit about him, I tell fighters, every fight isn't going to be a hands down amazing performance. But as long as you get by, as long as you get the victory and get to the next one, that's all that matters, man. Teofimo is a great talent. He's a good dude, and it's a lot of talent at 135 pounds. And I think Tank should just clean all of that up. Worried about cleaning all of that up one at a time, and then jump to 140 pounds.
Him and Regis right now for the belt.
Yeah, for sure. I think he'd beat Regis though.
Why?
His talent.
Floyd would hijack the press conferences, talk about his own undefeated record, show off his own wealth, and make the events more about Mayweather Promotions than the guy actually risking his life inside the squared circle. It wasn't just a matter of ego, it was a matter of control. Tank began to feel that Floyd was intentionally holding him back from signing the absolute biggest fights in the lightweight division. While fans were clamoring for Tank to fight elite names, Floyd's promotional strategy was hyper-calculated, protective, and focused on slow-building Tank's record while maximizing profit with minimal risk. Tank, a true fighter who wanted to test his mettle against the absolute best, started expressing his frustration publicly. Whispers started leaking from training camps. Tank was skipping sessions at the Mayweather Boxing Club in Las Vegas, opting instead to train in Florida or Baltimore away from Floyd's watchful eye. Social media rants began to pop up late at night, with Tank dropping cryptic tweets blasting his management and claiming he was being manipulated and used. The breaking point of their promotional alliance came in 2022. Gervonta officially announced that his fight against Rolando "Rolly" Romero would be his last under the Mayweather Promotions contract. Tank wanted out. He wanted total freedom, his own promotional entity, and a bigger cut of the pay-per-view revenue. Floyd tried to play it cool in public, stating that he wished Tank nothing but the best and that he was proud to have helped him become a boss. But in private, Floyd felt deeply betrayed. He believed he had poured millions of dollars, endless hours, and his personal blueprint for success into Tank, only for Gervonta to walk away the second he reached the top. The mentor and student were no longer on the same team. They were officially bitter rivals vying for power, dominance, and respect in a sport that isn't big enough for two alpha egos. And once the promotional contract expired, the gloves came off entirely. Once Gervonta Davis became a free agent, the public restraint completely dissolved. What used to be passive-aggressive comments in interviews transformed into an all-out personal war across Twitter, Instagram, and boxing podcasts. Tank didn't hold back. He openly accused Floyd Mayweather of being a hypocrite and a bitter ex-promoter who couldn't stand seeing his fighters outshine him. Tank dropped bombshell claims on social media, alleging that Floyd had intentionally set him up in tough fights early in his career, specifically mentioning his world title fight against Jose Pedroza because Floyd was angry at him over personal disputes involving Floyd's family. Tank claimed Floyd wanted him to lose back then to humble him and keep him under control. Floyd, never one to let anyone get the last word, fired back with surgical precision. He mocked Tank's pay-per-view numbers without the Mayweather marketing machine behind him. Whenever Tank had a fight scheduled, Floyd would conveniently announce an exhibition match or host a massive press event on the exact same weekend, effectively stealing media headlines away from Gervonta's fights. Tank lost his temper multiple times online, calling Floyd petty, a hater, and warning him to keep his name out of his mouth. The tension escalated from social media bickering to physical close calls in early 2024. Reports surfaced of an explosive run-in between the two camps in Dubai. Floyd was overseas promoting exhibition matches, while Tank was spending time abroad during an off-season. The two ran into each other at a high-end luxury venue, and witness accounts described a scene that nearly turned into a street fight. Words were exchanged, security teams stepped in, and Tank had to be restrained from stepping up to Floyd right then and there. Floyd reportedly laughed in Tank's face, which only pushed Gervonta's rage to a boiling point. Following the Dubai incident, the hostility reached a level where boxing insiders knew it was no longer just business, it was deeply personal. Tank's co-trainer, Kenny Ellis, went live on Instagram and threw gasoline on the fire. Ellis openly challenged Floyd Mayweather to come out of retirement and face Gervonta inside a real professional ring. Ellis boldly claimed that Tank possessed the exact explosive skill, angle-cutting power, and timing needed to break Floyd's legendary defense and decode his famous shoulder roll technique once and for all. Gervonta Davis can decode the shoulder roll. If Floyd can fight another exhibition, he can fight another real fight. If he's as great as he says he is, let's stop spinning the fans. A Gervonta versus Floyd, Kenny Ellis. The boxing world went into a complete frenzy. Fans began debating if an aging Floyd Mayweather could survive the devastating power of a prime Gervonta, Tank Davis.
I could beat Tank. He's just setting up his boy. I think Tank was happy you think Floyd was happy that Tank left?
Can that fight happen for the right
order? Floyd was there at Ryan Garcia and Tank fight for Tank? Floyd loves him. Floyd is going to promote himself. That's why Floyd came out with them damn chains and his $20 million watch. Y'all got to really think about what Floyd, how...
Mind Tank. Floyd is Floyd, but you're Gervonta Davis.
That's right.
Distinguish the two.
Yes.
And me and Floyd used to go to, I said, he's not you, Floyd. He's Tank.
That's right.
And Tank used to look at me like, yeah, we talking to Floyd like that?
That's right.
Floyd understood that it was certain things that I had to give to him, well as what he was giving to him.
That's right.
To make that balance, to make the car drive smooth.
That's right.
And it worked. You know what I'm saying? And I told Floyd, like, he's growing into being his own man. You know, respect the talent.
Respect the talent.
Respect the talent. And we see where he's growing to, you know? That's why when people talk, I say, I can't take shit away from Floyd.
That's right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because his body of work of being there and nurturing us through them waters and whatnot.
That's right.
Because he's been there where we haven't.
That's right.
You know? But when it came to raising him in this ring.
Signing with Floyd, you know, we fast forward a little bit, sign with Floyd. Floyd puts Tank in a position to fight Pedraza. A lot of people were saying that was like, you know, that was a setup fight, so forth and so on. Tank goes in there. What's your thoughts going into that fight? Like, oh, listen, this Pedraza, undefeated champion.
Well, I understood the whole thing. Floyd understood the thing. When you'll see it in our documentary. Yeah. But when Floyd was been trying to, because he was trying to fight a lot of guys that was champions. You know what I'm saying? And the guys that he was putting in front of us, you know, they lost their belts. And then when the situation came about when Tank had to fight for, we had no choice but to fight for Pedraza. And that was a hard fight. He was undefeated. He was an Olympian, you know, and he was on a roll, you know. And when Tank went in there and put on that performance that night, it was unreal. It was unreal. And that's the fight that I always put in my thoughts.
Floyd brushed off the challenge in interviews, claiming Tank was just using his legendary name to stay relevant and sell tickets. But behind the scenes, Floyd's inner circle knew the disrespect was burning a hole in Floyd's pride. Floyd prides himself on being TBE, the best ever, and having his former pupil mock his defense and claim he could knock him out was an insult Mayweather could not let slide. The boiling kettle was bound to explode. All it needed was the wrong place, the wrong time, and a microphone. That brings us directly back to the night of the confrontation, the moment where years of betrayal, jealousy, and bad blood finally combusted into raw violence live on camera. The media event was originally set up as a major promotional press conference meant to feature a stacked card of upcoming fights. Floyd Mayweather, who still holds enormous sway in event production, was present in his executive role. Gervonta Davis was attending because fighters from his own promotional banner and inner circle were featured on the card. The organizers knew the history between the two and tried their best to keep them separated. They had designated spots on opposite sides of the stage, surrounded by heavy security personnel instructed to prevent any physical contact. For the first 30 minutes, the event proceeded with standard boxing press conference cliches. Fighters talked trash, managers made predictions, and the media asked routine questions. But then, Floyd Mayweather stepped up to the main microphone to address the audience. Floyd was in full Money Mayweather persona. He started speaking about his legacy, mentioning how he built the modern pay-per-view blueprint that every young fighter today profits from. Then, Floyd turned his eyes toward the side of the stage where Tank was sitting with his hood up and dark sunglasses on. Floyd took a direct jab. He began talking about how young fighters forget where they came from. He said, "I picked up kids off the street when they had nothing, gave them millions, put them in position to be bosses, and the second they get a little taste of money, they think they made themselves. But when the lights go down, they realize they were only big because Floyd Mayweather was standing behind them." You could feel the temperature in the room drop to absolute zero. Tank immediately took off his sunglasses, stood up from his chair, and yelled across the stage, "Shut the hell up, Floyd. You ain't build nobody. Stop lying to these people." The media started taking photos frantically. Floyd didn't back down. He chuckled into the microphone, shook his head, and hit Tank with a response that pushed Gervonta over the edge. Floyd smirked and said, "You still mad because you'll never be TBE, young man. You can win all the belts you want, but you'll always be in my shadow." That was the exact millisecond the dam broke. Tank didn't yell back. He didn't engage in a shouting match. He charged. Gervonta lowered his shoulders, ducked right past the first security guard who tried to grab his arm, and sprinted straight across the stage directly at Floyd. The second security officer tried to form a barricade, but Tank violently shoved him out of the way, sending the guard stumbling into the media backdrop. Floyd barely had time to react. As Tank reached him, Gervonta threw a fast, aggressive overhand right. Floyd's legendary defensive instincts kicked in instinctively. He pulled his head back just enough so the punch only grazed his cheek and collarbone, but the physical force knocked Floyd backward into the podium. The podium overturned, microphone smashed onto the floor with loud screeching feedback, and the banner behind them came tearing down. Within 2 seconds, the stage became an absolute war zone. Floyd's personal bodyguards, known for their massive physical size, dove over the table to cover Floyd, while Tank's entourage rushed the stage to back up their fighter. Shouts, curses, and fists were flying in every direction as security personnel struggled desperately to separate the two camps. Tank was fighting like a wild animal, trying frantically to tear through the wall of bodies to get another shot at Mayweather, while Floyd was surrounded by his team and swiftly escorted off the stage through a side exit. The livestream feed was cut abruptly, replacing the chaotic footage with a static event logo, but the footage recorded by journalists in the front row had already captured every single second of the madness. Within minutes, clips of Gervonta Davis attacking Floyd Mayweather went wildly viral across Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, amassing tens of millions of views in a matter of hours. The fallout from the altercation was immediate, severe, and shook the entire combat sports world to its core. Local law enforcement and stadium security had to clear the entire venue.
The face of boxing. And I get it, you a hell of a fighter, bro. You undefeated. But let these young niggas shine, bro. And your daughter still chose wrong. You get what I'm saying? So that shit crazy. You know, people with power, with money, think that they money saved them from the world, but like, nah, bro, you do fucked up shiesty shit, bro. Like, I don't give a fuck how much money you got, bro. I never look at you the same. I never look at you the same, dog. Still want to be hood. Like, what? Nigga, that's ass backwards, bro. Like, no, dog. But, Gervonta Davis, man, you know, a lot of people may say, he's arrogant or whatever the case may be, bro. I don't see it. You know, I just see him playing for the internet. You know, they say something, he say something back. You get what I'm saying? But listen to this, what Gervonta Davis had to say. And it was a good interview. At first, I ain't like it because it's like the interviewer, you know, he from Gervonta Davis hood too. But it's like he also wanted them to be, wanted the people to know that he's from the hood. He came from the street. Like, nah, bro. Like, no, bro.
When Gervonta Davis was talking about the beef between him and Floyd Mayweather and how he wanted him to lose against Jose Pedraza, when I watched the end, when they was announcing Tank as the winner, you could see Floyd Mayweather in the back just looking salty, wiping his nose. He not even really clapping. He looking like, damn, this nigga beat the odds. But y'all, this shit is crazy. Look at this photo. Look how Floyd is looking at Gervonta like, damn, I wanted you to lose for real. The whole fight hit different. Y'all need to go watch it over. This shit crazy, fool. So if people don't know, allegedly the beef stemmed from Floyd Mayweather's daughter Snapchatting Gervonta on Snapchat. I'm guessing people when Floyd Camp got wind of that and they told Floyd like, hey, I think Gervonta knocking your daughter boots. Floyd said, Gervonta knocking my daughter boots? Nah. Then they showed on the proof. They like, look, the proof is in the pudding. And he's on.
The press conference was officially cancelled, and multiple Athletic Commission officials were seen looking on in disbelief as damage to the venue was assessed. In the hours following the attack, sports media outlets across the globe, from ESPN and Sky Sports to major news networks, were covering the brawl non-stop. Floyd Mayweather's camp released a brief, stern statement condemning the actions of Gervonta Davis, calling the attack unprofessional, criminal, and a desperate act by a fighter who cannot handle the truth. Rumors immediately began circulating that Floyd's legal team was considering filing civil lawsuits or pressing charges for assault. Tank, on the other hand, showed zero regret. Shortly after leaving the venue, he posted a short, blunt message on social media before deleting it minutes later: "Keep talking like you untouchable and see what happens next time. I ain't one of your employees no more." This explosive event has forever altered the trajectory of both men's legacies. For years, boxing fans wondered if the beef between Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis was just clever marketing to keep both of their names circulating in the news cycle. But this brawl completely demolished that theory. The genuine, unscripted hatred between these two men is real, deep-rooted, and potentially dangerous. Now, the entire sports world is left with one massive, burning question: where do they go from here? Could this unimaginable melee actually lead to the highest-grossing exhibition fight in combat sports history? We have seen strange things happen in boxing before. Floyd Mayweather, despite being retired from professional competition, continues to engage in lucrative exhibition matches for tens of millions of dollars. Gervonta Davis is in the absolute physical prime of his career, destroying everyone put in front of him with terrifying knockout power. If promoters can navigate the legal fallout, the Athletic Commission hurdles, and the immense bad blood, a Mayweather vs. Davis grudge match, even as a high-stakes exhibition, would break every pay-per-view record in history. On the flip side, this physical altercation could mark the total, irreversible end of any communication between them. Floyd may choose to ban Tank from any Mayweather-affiliated events, pull strings behind the scenes to complicate Tank's venue bookings, or pursue full legal action to hit Tank where it hurts most, his wallet. One thing is absolute certainty: the story of Floyd Money's Mayweather and Gervonta Tank Davis will never be the same again. The student didn't just try to surpass the master, he tried to take his head off on live television.